Okay, so what if an entire city could just die overnight? One minute, you've got a bustling industrial town, and the next, it's a toxic, forbidden graveyard. Today, we are diving deep into the chilling story of Ravipuram. It's a wild tale of corporate greed, government cover-ups, and, well, the ultimate sacrifice.
I mean, that's the big question, right? How does that even happen? We're gonna unravel the story of Ravipuram. What the world was told was a mysterious industrial disaster, slowly turned into a conspiracy way more terrifying than anyone could have ever dreamed up.
All right, so let's set the scene. 5 years ago, Ravipuram was a thriving city. Its whole life really revolved around this massive chemical factory. But then, one single catastrophic event just silenced its heartbeat forever. Now, the official story was a tragic industrial accident. You know, an explosion, a toxic gas leak. Simple enough. But the way they locked it down so fast and so completely, declaring the whole area a restricted zone, something about it just didn't add up. It felt like they were hiding something way bigger. So the official record was sealed, no questions allowed. Ravipuram was just left to rot behind these giant barricades with the label Toxic Ghost Town. It was a really convenient explanation, but it buried a much darker truth. But for one man, Atul, this story was anything but closed. You see, his sister, Archana, was a brilliant scientist working at that exact factory. She was one of the lost, and her body was never found. For 5 long years, Atul just lived with this unbearable grief, but he always held on to this sliver of hope that she was somehow, somewhere still out there. And this hope, well, it was being fueled by a terrifying, recurring dream. Can you imagine? Every single night, he saw her. But it wasn't the sister he remembered. In his dream, she was this decayed, zombie-like figure trapped in the darkness of the factory. And her desperate plea, "Free us," it just echoed in his mind, convincing him that her death was no simple accident. So, Atul's private grief, it was about to turn into a full-blown investigation. His friends, Tanya and Gaurav, they stumbled onto something, a shocking piece of a hidden puzzle that was about to confirm his absolute worst fears. They found a deleted video from a YouTuber who claimed to have exposed the whole thing, and the claims were insane. We're talking a secret experiment to create zombie-like beings. And just as fast as the video popped up, it was gone. And so was the person who made it, totally silenced. So you have this bombshell video, and it makes Atul remember the final piece of the puzzle, a panicked, disconnected phone call from Archana on the night of the explosion. The dream, the video, the call, it all clicked into place. He knew it was all connected, and he and his friends decided to do the unthinkable. They were going to break into the forbidden zone. So under the cover of darkness, the 3 of them slip past the government quarantine, and they step into a city where time had just stopped dead in its tracks. The scene was just chilling. It was so normal. It was like thousands of people had just vanished right in the middle of their daily lives. You could feel the dread just hanging in the air. Their search for answers gets cut short by this terrifying guttural noise that echoes from a house nearby. It was a sound that didn't belong to any animal they knew, and it meant they were definitely not alone anymore. And then, from the shadows, a literal nightmare. A creature with torn flesh and these glowing red eyes attacks with savage speed. Before Atul and Gaurav could even blink, it lunged at Tanya, killing her instantly. The horrifying truth just crashed down on them. That YouTube video, it was all real. So now they're fleeing a whole horde of these things, and they take refuge in the one place they can think of, the skeletal remains of the chemical factory, the one place where this whole nightmare began. And inside, they find her. They find Archana, zombified but somehow still herself. And she lays out the entire horrifying truth. The factory wasn't for chemicals. It was a front for a secret zombie lab. The experiment went horribly wrong. The government covered it all up with that explosion, and she was the last survivor, transformed, but somehow holding on. She tells him, "I'm one of them now, infected, transformed." But through just sheer force of will, she'd been holding on to her humanity this whole time. She had been waiting for Atul, believing he would come and end this nightmare for everyone. And she reveals there is a way to end it. A gas capsule hidden down in the basement. The only catch?
It was being guarded by Raghav, the factory owner and the first intelligent alpha zombie who started this whole mess. In the fight that follows, Raghav kills Gaurav and he turns too. Atul manages to get away with the capsule, but when he gets outside, he's cornered by the zombie versions of his two best friends, Tanya and Gaurav. He was faced with a completely impossible choice. With his sister's voice yelling at him from the factory entrance, knowing what he had to do, Atul made his decision. He lifted that capsule high over his head and smashed it on the ground. And just like that, a black, toxic gas erupted, and it worked instantly. Every single infected creature, his friends, his sister, the entire zombified population of Ravipuram burst into flames. The city was finally cleansed in this horrifying, fiery end. Atul just walks away, the sole survivor, leaving behind the burning city and everyone he ever held dear. He came to find his sister, but to save the world, he had to become the destroyer of his own. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If you were faced with that same choice, could you do it?